Hey friends! Today we're tackling something that has come up because of my most recent experiment, Kinks Decoded. That video quickly became one of my most controversial videos on my channel. And as I'm going through the comments, I couldn't help but notice people jumped straight into rhetoric or amateur psychology. A certain pattern started to emerge, and not a new one either. We're of course talking about the classic debate killer, the Strawman Argument. Have you ever been in one of those debates where no matter what you say, the other person somehow twists your words into something absurd? You say something like, hey, I think cats are super cool, and suddenly they're accusing you of planning an all-out full-scale war on dogs? If you've been there, congrats. You've officially experienced a Strawman Argument. So today, we're diving into this sneaky little tactic that seems to pop up everywhere from internet fights to family dinners these days. Why do people love using strawman arguments? And more importantly, how can we dodge them? A strawman argument is when someone takes what you said, completely distorts it, and then attacks the distorted version. It's like they're building a scarecrow to fight instead of tackling the real issue. Hence the name strawman. Well, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're just saying, hey, I love wearing my fursuit. And your friend jumps in with, oh, so what are you, a zoophile now? Like, what? How did we leap from loving fursuits to that? The leap right there? That's a classic strawman. And it's the core of what we're discussing today. Strawman arguments can be super effective because they oversimplify complex issues. So simple, of course, that the actual issue gets lost. Suddenly you're stuck defending a point that you never even made. Take, for example, marriage equality. When the LGBTQ+ community started advocating for the right to marry, opponents often threw out a strawman argument similar to, oh, so what's next? Will you start to want to marry your pets? I mean, really? That claim is ridiculous. But it distracts people from the real issue of equal rights, and it turns it into something bizarre and easier to attack. People love a clear villain, even if it's made of straw. Strawman arguments work because they appeal to our laziest instincts. They let people project their fears onto a caricature of the real problem. And listen, who doesn't love feeling like they've beaten a villain in an argument? But the truth is, they weren't even in the same fight. So how do we spot a strawman? Well, first, listen carefully. You'll often hear phrases like, so what you're saying is, followed by completely off the rails. Take, for example, LGBTQ+ advocates pushing for more inclusive education. Someone might say, so what you're trying to tell me is you want to turn all the kids gay. Yeah, no. The second you hear that, alarm bells should be going off in your head. If you choose to engage at this point, remember, stay calm. You should respond with something like, that's not actually what I meant to say. What I actually meant was, and then gently steer the conversation back to the real point. But hey, sometimes walking away is actually the best move. Arguing with a strawman is like playing a game of whack-a-mole. The more you hit, the weirder it gets. So why do people use strawman arguments? Well, sometimes it's genuine misunderstanding. But more often than not, it's a deliberate strategy. Strawmen simplify complex problems, making them easier to argue against. And they rally people around a false narrative. It's like how politicians reframe their opponent's words to score points with their base. It's not about an honest debate. It's about delivering a quick win. Honestly, it's so much easier to hate a strawman than to sit down, listen, and work through the real issue. Critical thinking? Yeah, that takes a lot of effort. When someone throws a strawman at you, here's my first and honestly only rule. Don't engage with a brain rot. Seriously. If they're strawmanning you on purpose, they're not looking for a genuine conversation. Just don't waste your energy. But if for some reason you really want to engage, do it calmly, clarify your point, and say something like, that's really not what I meant, let's not get sidetracked. Keep the conversation focused on the real issue, not the imaginary battlefield that they've created. And remember, knowing when to walk away is a superpower. Strawman arguments derail important conversations. By learning to spot them and counter them effectively, we can keep the discussion focused on the real issues and not these cartoonish versions of them. So, have you ever been hit with a strawman argument? Let me know in the comments section below and tell me how you handled it. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Stay safe, stay kind, and remember, don't waste your time with Strawman. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe, and check out my Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting content like this. Bye!